problems that were presented create the greatest opportunities for creativity and sound. So the problem was they thought there was too much cowbell. The solution was, what if we have a new creative idea about that cowbell and we feature the cowbell? So the problem became the solution. The problem became something innovative. The problem became a creative moment, and it elevated the song to another level. You know, not too long ago, the Hawks Agency team and I, we were in Dallas, Texas, and we were producing a virtual conference down there. And we had a problem that arose because we were holding this virtual conference and hosting it from the Dallas Cowboys practice stadium. And it was an indoor stadium, but we had this really schwanky room that we were casting out of, which was it was in a place called the Cowboy Club. And so there was like players in there, not in the room we were, but we got to, like, they were in the area. I'm just saying, it was a little cool. Okay, so we were there, and we were so excited. We got there the night before. We were setting up to go live the next morning. And, you know, especially when you got events going on and planning, you get really excited, and you want everything to go according to plans, and we had technical difficulties, things like that. And so we were so ready that night before, and somebody came in, and the representative from the Cowboy Stadium said, "We're so excited you guys are here. It's gonna be great. We're gonna open the doors for you at 8:30 tomorrow morning." And we said, "Wait, what did you say?" We actually, the conference starts at 8. The conference starts at 8. And they're like, "Oh, well, we're gonna open the doors for you at 8:30. So the conversation went back and forth, and we realized that under no circumstances were they opening the doors for us at 8 o'clock or any earlier like we needed. So we were like, what the heck are we gonna do? We have got lots of clients ready to just pipe in at 8 o'clock. What are we gonna do? So it was a bit chaotic. It got noisy really quickly in the room. Everyone's like, and then we all just kind of went in separate little huddles, it felt like, not intentionally. We weren't like, and break. Everyone just kind of, you know how if there's a problem, if there's like little clusters that form, like, what are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? And so that happened. And eventually, one of the girls who was in another cluster that I wasn't in talking came over, and she said, what about this? So there was like a half-size field right outside of the building in the stadium that was just for community use, but it was painted beautifully, and it's just really cool. And she said, what if we took our phones and we just started the conference on the field? And at first we were like, oh, that sounds risky, I don't know, let's think about that. And so then we talked about it a little bit more, and we got all these ideas, and we're like, yeah, oh wait, what if we started out with like football in the game? We had this video, and like we had all these ideas, and we're like, yes, let's do that. So we got everything together that night. I think we finished getting stuff ready at about 11 o'clock. We were like, yes, let's go to bed. We've got this. So next morning we get up, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, go out to the field, and we're casting from the field. For the plan is 30 minutes. And I'm going to tell you, I've been to a lot of conferences in my life, and it was the best opening to a conference I had ever seen. And you know what the crazy thing is? We would have never come up with the idea to go out there had we not been presented with the problem of not opening the doors when we needed them to. So I just propose to you, maybe the cowbell is not the problem. Maybe the closing of the doors or the not opening of the doors isn't the problem. Maybe it's an opportunity for a grand new solution. So wherever it's noisy, maybe consider what the potential is there. I want to unpack this a little bit more, and let's talk about perspective. Perspective represents our personal expectations. Your perspective represents your personal expectations. So if you're in a team, it's the collective of your personal expectations. It's the language and the energy of the sound of culture. What is the story we're trying to tell? What is the language that we're speaking? What is our personal perspective? I think of perspective as always this. If it's a healthy perspective, it's always going to elevate. It's going to say we're going somewhere upward. No, who wants a perspective like this, right? We expect bad things? No, no thank you. We want our perspective to be up, our personal expectations. And it's our personal expectations, our language, and our energy. This has to do all with our thinking. And we're gonna get to practices because that's a little bit more practical, but I do believe the strongest and probably the most difficult place to get traction is really changing our perspective. Have you ever heard of the book, Eat This, Not That? Okay, it's pretty old, it's been probably 20 years, but I remember reading it and I thought it was awesome. And so I love a good think this, not that list, and so I'm gonna give you one, okay? Think this, not that. This is, if you want to take notes, this is probably a good time to do it. So if this cowbell represents a rockin' culture, rockin' sounding culture, and this is simply a can of rocks. Clunky rocks, okay? This is not pretty. So if this is a dissonant sounding culture, and this is a rockin' unified culture, I'm going to give you a think this, not that. So that doesn't mean what's over here is bad. It just means that this is where we want to think. Let's start, and you'll understand as we go. So we want a healthy sounding culture to think service. If you can't see these, it's okay. I'll say them over and over. Think service, not work. Do we work? Resounding yes. Absolutely. We work hard. Work is important, but we want to think service. Jordan Peterson, a great teacher and writer, says that the greatest calling of any person on the planet, any human, is that of serving others. That's what brings us fulfillment. That's what brings people joy. So do we work? Absolutely, but we want to think service. How are we serving our team? How are we serving our organization? How are we serving our clients? When we think service, that's the sound of a healthy culture. I want to end with something fun. Are you ready?
Yeah.
I've never been a cheerleader, and but I think I could have. Okay, so we're going to do something together. So the energy of what we're about to do is fun. That is the element of energy and vibe. What are we about to do? Something fun. What is the language we are about to communicate? It is a few simple words, and then those words are "we will rock you." Okay? So the energy is fun. The words are "we will rock you." The beat is this. Yep, you know where this is going. Oh yeah. Okay, so you got this. So and then we're going to use the instruments, not just our hands, but our voices. Okay, so when I begin, we're going to all come in together in harmony. Are you ready? Here. We will rock. Listen to us! We will rock you.
More power!
Vibe you want to create in culture. You determine the language you want to communicate, the story you want to tell, and then you bring all the musicians and the instruments together in harmony. We can create a rockin' culture. And so I really hope you all keep making beautiful sounding music and culture in your work, and that you can really, if nothing else, walk away with one thing to help move you forward.